All right, guys, I want to walk you through the wide receiver market going into the 2023 Dynasty football season. I'm going to take you through my thought process and what I kind of predict and I can kind of see happening and kind of get you guys prepared for the 2023 season and potentially the 2024 season. But before I get into it, I did bring out a video similar to this, but for the running back room, and I kind of brought you the thought process of that running back room. So definitely go check that out. I'll try to link that video below. And as always, please like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you have to do. Show some love. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about this video, drop it down below. I'll try to respond to every single one of the comments. Let's get straight into it. All right, let's start with the free agency wide receiver market and what that looks like for NFL teams and maybe for your fantasy football team as well. There's really only three guys I kind of want to mention and bring up that are under 27 years old. And now I kind of give you some guys that could potentially could have opportunities in a fantasy perspective potentially, or that can be contributors to a team. So the guys that are under 27 years old that are currently free agents that could potentially be fantasy relevant: Alan Lazard, who we've seen be fantasy relevant in the past; Juju Smith, who's under 27 years old as well. And I guess you can kind of say Jacoby Myers. He's been fantasy relevant, but more of like a flex option. So he's not somebody that's going to stand out there and say, okay, yeah, I can't wait for another team to re-sign, right? Now, these are wide receivers that are 29 years old or older. These are guys that have been fantasy relevant in the past, but are probably on their last lifeline in the fantasy football, realm. Sterling Shepard, Nelson Aguilar, Marvin Jones, AJ Brown, Jarvis Landry, Jameson Crowder. I mean, there is so much more. I just wanted to bring some of those. I mean, Julio Jones is out there. I said AJ Green. I mean, these are some guys that I just don't see are going to be contributing in a fantasy perspective and be guys that are going to be massive for you and your team. So the free agency market is kind of abysmal right now. There's no one that I believe can really help. There's probably one guy that I believe is out there, and that's OBJ. I mean, so many teams wanted to sign him, but he wasn't ready. So maybe he'll be ready for the 2023 season, in the beginning of the season. But for the rest of these guys, I just don't see a fantasy relevant pathway to help your team in Dynasty specifically. Okay, so now let's go into the 2023 wide receiver class that is coming into the 2023 draft. There's 18 incoming wide receivers. There are 5 potential wide receivers I personally believe that could be wide receiver ones: Quentin Johnson, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Jordan Addison, Kayshon Boutte, Zay Flowers. Okay, those are the guys that, whether the media has been hyping up, whether the guys that I believe in, I just wanted to bring you these guys, right? 5 potential wide receivers that can be wide receiver ones, alpha guys on their team. Then there are 5 wide receivers that have the upside to be a wide receiver 1 and the upside to be a good solid wide receiver 2 on a team: Xavier Hutchins, Josh Downs, Parker Washington, Rashid Rice, Jalen Hyatt. And I don't want to put this guy on this list, but Nathaniel Dell. Okay, we're not really excited about him. We don't like the size frame. We don't like the body. I think he's 5'8", 165 pounds. It will be really hard for him, in my opinion, to get a workload in a process. But he's been bowling out in Senior Bowl. I think his draft capital is going to be high. We got to wait and see what's going to happen. But about 5 to 6 wide receivers that have the potential to be wide receiver 1s or wide receiver 2 on a team. Okay. And then you have some of these other guys that are probably just going to be role players. I mean, maybe they do have the potential to be a good wide receiver 2, and maybe one of these guys breaks out to be a wide receiver 1. But I think that is less than a 10% chance. Marvin Mims, Cedric Tillman, Puka Nacua, Jalen Reed, Rakim Jarrett, Trey Palmer, A.T. Perry. I mean, those are some guys that I just really don't believe could have a true wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 workload. So why am I telling you this? As always, if you watch our other video, I kind of just want to bring you my thought process and what's going to happen. So I'm going to take you through every single NFL team. I took the liberty of going through every single NFL team and breaking it down and putting them into categories that I believe could just make things simpler and a little bit more understanding of where some of these rookie wide receivers can land and how they can contribute, and also where maybe some of these free agent guys could land and how they can contribute. So I have 9 teams that are safe, in my opinion, going into the 2023 season that I don't believe is going to draft a wide receiver or trade for a wide receiver. I just want to also keep in mind that anything can happen. Any team can trade away a wide receiver at any moment. I mean, we've seen that with AJ Brown in the draft. So these are just the guys I'm giving the benefit of the doubt based on youth, based on the trades that they maybe acquired some of these guys, and or contracts that they are on or potentially could be giving to these wide receivers. Okay, 9 teams, remember, 9 teams that are safe. The San Francisco 49ers with Brandon Ayuk, Debo. The Bengals with Chase and Higgins. The Eagles with Devonta Smith, AJ Brown. Commanders with Terry and Jahan. Dolphins with Hill and Waddle. Lions with Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams. And these are some guys, these are some teams that I'm giving the benefit of the doubt, once again, based on youth, contracts, etc. The Jags with Calvin Ridley, even though he's on a 1-year contract. Christian Kirk as well on a 5-year contract, if I'm not mistaken. The Steelers with George Pickens and Deontay Johnson, who they just gave a 2-year contract extension to last year. And then the Broncos with Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton. I mean, they have a good head coach now coming in with Sean Payton. Russell Wilson's still there. Their team is good. They just needed to get the play calling right? They needed to get that down immediately and to kind of see what's going to happen in that realm. So I doubt Jerry Jeudy and or Courtland Sutton is going to be traded. But once again, anything could happen. Now there's 13 teams with an already established alpha wide receiver 1 that could potentially draft a complimentary wide receiver 2, okay? Once again, anything can change. The Colts with Michael Pittman, the Jets with Garrett Wilson, the Falcons with Drake London, Cowboys CD, Vikings JJ, Bills Diggs, Seahawks with DK. I think Lockett is still there, but I think he's kind of like on his last fantasy life. I think I won't be surprised if they actually do bring in a wide receiver. But once again, giving them the benefit of the doubt just because of how the longevity of Tyler Lockett. The Raiders with Devontae Adams. The Browns with Amari Cooper. The Panthers with DJ Moore. The Titans with Treylon Burks. The Saints with Chris Olave. And the Packers with Christian Watson. And I just want to hint on some of these teams that I do believe could also get a wide receiver, but we just don't know. And I'm giving them, once again, the benefit of the doubt based on you. So Treylon Burks, I do believe he could be the wide receiver 1, but do they get someone that is, a bigger alpha? I mean, I doubt someone like a DeAndre Hopkins is going to come in or someone as big as that, but hypothetically, do they get an even bigger alpha than Treylon Burks? Chris Olave, I think he could be, and he played a good alpha this year. But I do, and I can see them bringing in another alpha for the Saints. And the Packers, Christian Watson, I do like him. He did play a good alpha role this year, but I can also see them moving into another bigger alpha or a complimentary wide receiver 2 for their team. Okay, so now I have 6 teams that need an alpha wide receiver and a wide receiver 2. They just need help, right? They just need opportunities to bring in somebody. The Patriots, the Texans, the Chiefs, the Bears, the Giants, the Ravens. Okay, 6 teams that I believe could either trade for somebody in free agency, or they can make a deal with somebody in the NFL, or bring in one of these top guys like Quentin, Jackson Smith, Jordan Addison that could potentially be wide receiver 1s on a team. And then I have 4 teams that have no idea what the hell is going on. I put them in a I have no idea category because who the hell knows what's going to happen. The Rams with Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson. Who the hell knows? I mean, we all know Cooper Kupp took off with Matthew Stafford last year. And what the hell is going to happen this year? Is Matthew Stafford going to be healthy? Is Cooper Kupp going to be healthy? What's going to happen with Allen Robinson? The Cardinals with DeAndre Hopkins. Is DeAndre Hopkins really going to get traded? What the hell is going to happen with Kyler Murray? Is he really going to be ready for week 1, which I doubt? The Bucks, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I mean, Tom Brady officially retired now. Again, who's going to be the quarterback? We just don't know. The Chargers and Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, 31 years old. Mike Williams on his 2nd contract. I mean, who the hell knows what's going to happen with some of these guys? So there are 19 teams that are in need of a wide receiver that could be stepping into a big role. And now that comes to the point, it's like, okay, why am I telling you this? What is the point of this? And I kind of want to prepare you for this 2023 season in the thought process of where these guys can go. I understand every single year we do need to prepare ourselves. We do need to understand what the market is going to look like and really say, okay, can these guys really have big roles? And I think this could potentially be skewed, or actually we could be looking right down the barrel at what the reality could potentially be. So number 1, we either have to invest in this class. Okay, we have to invest in this class and think and say, okay, Can a guy that's going to be drafted in the 3rd round really have a massive wide receiver 2 upside, or, step into a wide receiver 1 role, kind of like a Terry? Same thing in the 4th round, like a Amon-Ra. He was a great top 10 wide receiver, feels like the past couple of years, or top 10, and then he was like top 15 or 18 the past 2 years. I mean, can one of these guys step into a role like that in this year's draft? I think that we need to prepare ourselves and say, you know what, this class, the NFL teams are going to need them to step up no matter where their draft capital is, right? Or do they get pushed up? Does a projected wide receiver 3 or a round wide receiver 3 go in the early 2nd round or mid 2nd round and say, hey, we didn't expect him to get this draft capital, but we're here now, right? These guys need to get up. I mean, someone that Zach and I really love, Xavier Hutchinson, we're really happy if he gets 3rd round draft capital. But if he gets 2nd round, in our minds, that's clicking saying, whoa, that could be a really big role depending on the team that he lands on, right? So we need to prepare ourselves and potentially invest in this class that is going to be coming into the 2023 football season. Number 2, we need to try and invest in players that we believe could have a wide receiver 1 role that's already in the NFL. I think we've all been hearing the rumors with T. Higgins could potentially be traded because he's on a contract year, and the Bengals don't know what's going to happen. They have so many people to pay. They have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase that they got to pay. Maybe some players on the defensive side that they got to pay. Can they afford T. Higgins? Maybe T. Higgins gets traded to a team that truly needs a wide receiver 1. We all know T. Higgins is a wide receiver 1 playing the wide receiver 2 role behind Jamar Chase. So we need to start investing and looking into really digging deep into some of these guys and saying, you know what, I need to start getting someone like T. Higgins. Brandon Ayuk, right, on a contract, going into his contract year, if I'm not mistaken. His last year of his contract is next year. Do they invest in him? They have so many people that they have to re-sign on the defensive side for this 49ers team. I think there can be an opportunities, or maybe we can get a guy that I personally really believed in that had super high draft capital in the early 2nd round that probably went to a bad team, Elijah Moore. What if he goes to a team? What if they trade away T. Higgins to a team like the Giants and they get the Bengals trade for Elijah Moore on a super cheap, friendly contract? I mean, I think a lot of people are going to start investing in someone like an Elijah Moore. If he does go to a team that has a better quarterback, that's going to be getting the opportunities, at least we hope and expect that he gets the opportunity. So we need to try and invest in players that we could envision moving into a higher role at the end of 2023, going into 2024. And as I mentioned, 2024 comes into my last thought. Maybe you need to start stocking up on 2024 draft class and realizing maybe that class is significantly better than the 2023 draft class. There's not, I mean, the 2023 draft class is nowhere near the 2021 or 2022, with all these top wide receivers coming in last year. I feel the same way about 2024. As of right now, some good talent coming in. Mark Harrison, Ohio State. Emeka Mbuka, who freaking took off this year and the years before, right? Xavier Worthy out of Texas, Romeo Dunze in Washington. I mean, there's so many wide receivers that could be coming in 2024. So if you do have a 1st round draft pick and in your rookie drafts and you're saying, you know what, I'm not really feeling the landing spot and I don't really like the investment, or you just really want to hire talent, maybe you can trade that guy away if you are in the position, in a dynasty position, to get a 2024 1st round draft pick and hope you can potentially get one of these top wide receivers. And as we get closer into the season, into the college football season, we're going to understand who's going to be some of these top guys, some of these top wide receivers that are going to be getting the draft capital that we hope and expect, and we get a little bit more understanding. So I don't know much about this 24 draft class, but these are some guys that I've been hearing. I've been hearing on Twitter. I've watched them play, like Marvin Harrison, Emeka, Xavier Worthy. All these guys have been taking off this past year. So we just need to prepare ourselves. The wide receiver 2023 draft class is not the strongest. I truly believe there's 5 true guys that can be wide receiver 1s here. But if I really want to break it down, in my personal opinion, there's 2. Quentin Johnson, and Jackson Smith-Njigba. There are two true, in my opinion, wide receiver ones. After that, there is a massive tier down. There's a massive break. Those guys could get opportunities, but we really need to dig deep and say, hey, should I be investing in this class? Should I start believing in this class a little bit more, or should I just move on to the 2024 draft class? Once again, guys, I just wanted to bring you my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Do I sound crazy? Am I dumb? Am I not giving this class the benefit of the doubt? Or do you think, yeah, this is not the best draft class, we need to just be punting this class and be investing in 2024? I think we're kind of getting to that point where some people are like, well, if I can't get the one or two, I'm going to go for the 1 or 2 in 2024. So let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. It's all love as always, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.